Now, what else do you notice about this? It's got a dot in the middle of it, okay? That dot is actually significant, all right? It's technically not part of the letter itself, but is a dagesh. And that's a word you need to know. D-A-G-E-S, a dagesh. D-A-G-E-S-H, dagesh. Dagesh is, for all practical purposes, the Hebrew word for dot. Got it? That wasn't too hard. But there's two kinds of dots that we're going to look at. All right? There's a soft and a hard one, or a weak and a strong one. And the weak one is appropriately called, if you know Latin, dagesh lene. The hard one, the strong one, is going to be called dagesh forte. That's a hard or strong dagesh, but we're not going to worry about that because it's a different issue. Now, we're going to keep track of those letters that have a dagesh lene in them, all right? And let's just keep a running score up here of letters that can take dagesh lene, all right? And the first one is Beith, all right? Beith, and now I'll go from the English angle. We're going to be making a list this way, all right? So we got B. Now, the thing about the dagesh lene is it really distinguishes two pronunciations of the same letter. This is not a strange phenomenon. When your children learn how to spell, you realize that English is full of this sort of thing, all right? Consider the two G's in the word garage, right? Consider the fact that sometimes C is C and sometimes C is soft or S. The word circus is spelled C-I-R-C-U-S, but they're two different C sounds, see? And we just don't even think about this because we're sort of native speakers and don't work. English is a horrible language to learn, I would think. I'm kind of thankful that I learned it from a child because the rules are all over the map and we got lots of exceptions and we got a lot of oddities like this. It's just that you don't think about it. Now, that's somewhat what you have with these dagesh lene letters. There are some letters who have a hard sound and a soft sound. And the hard sound is B, the soft sound is V or V. V. Let me illustrate that. You obviously are ready to ask, and when is it hard and when is it soft? The answer to that question is, it depends on whether there's a dagesh there. You don't have to make that call. See, if all you're doing is reading the language, if the dot there is there, it's hard. If the dot's not there, it's soft. Now, if you were writing the language, there are reasons for when it's hard and when it's soft. And I'll tell you that right now. It's really this. It's whether it starts a syllable or ends a syllable. Or better said, it's whether it follows a vowel or follows a consonant. And I'll give you an example. I'll teach you a Hebrew word right off the bat. Okay? Remember when we were talking about shalom up here? And I told you that this was a vowel, okay? And I said the vowel has a long A sound similar to the A in father, so that it's an ah sound. That's why this is pronounced shalom, all right? Now, you've already learned two letters. You've learned the letter, what's the name of this letter? And you've learned the letter Beith, okay? You put them together, and what do you get? We actually have a word here. All right, this is a syllable. It's a syllable that's made up of a consonant, another consonant, and between those two consonants is going to be a vowel. All right? Now we're going to write the same vowel that we used up here between them, which means under the first letter, and we now have a word. Okay? If we were transcribing this word into English characters, the aleph would look like a apostrophe, the A would look like a long A vowel, and the Beith would look like a B, right? Now, here's our question about dagesh lene. Is this a hard B or a soft B? Answer? Well, the real question is, does it have dagesh lene or not? Answer, no, it doesn't have dagesh lene, therefore it's a soft B. And the soft B is written with a little line under it, which means that the pronunciation of this word is not ab, but Av. Hear the V sound. If you heard this, you'd think it was AV in English, Av. All right, even though you'd spell it. Now remember, it starts with a consonant, but you're not hearing the aleph because the aleph is this sort of silent letter. Okay. Now let's reverse the two letters. All right, because there is another word in Hebrew that's spelled this way. Interestingly enough, this works. We can take the B and put it first, followed by an aleph, and have the same vowel in between. But in this case, that beith is going to have a dagesh lene in it. Why? Because in this case, the beith is hard. It's beginning a syllable. It's starting fresh. It's not following a vowel. It's not following a vowel. So this word would be spelled with a regular B, no line under it. Again, there's our long A vowel. And now our little aleph is an apostrophe at the end of the word. And this would not be pronounced va, but pronounced ba. Hear it? Ba. There you go. You've learned a lot after two letters. And we've even made up a word. No, we haven't made up a word. Both of these are real words. This is a verb form. This, by the way, you may know. Av is the word for father. Now you've even learned a word. Okay? We get it in names like Avraham, Abraham. It comes across in Aramaic, which puts the definite article at the end of the word as an extra syllable in the Aramaic title Abba, or Abba. All right? It's the same word Av, moved into Aramaic. Right? And that's on Jesus' lips, of course. So there you go. Now you've learned a word. Third letter. Gimel. Well, you expected a G because that's what you did in Greek, right? It's about the right place for a G. And that's what you got, okay? This is a little tricky to make. The printed one is almost vertical. Generally, you make a horizontal, what do you call it? Diagonal line, okay? With a little leg on it, all right? Looks like a lambda, all right? I tend to make these with a little bit of a top, just to give it a little flourish.